It was supposed to be just another adventure, a quick trip out into the wilderness to see some snowflakes before the season ended. But then the storm hit us like a brick wall, and we found ourselves lost in the midst of nowhere, our supplies dwindling and hope running low. As the bitter wind howled around us and the snow piled up higher by the minute, I couldn't shake the feeling that something bad was going to happen. And when we stumbled upon that abandoned station hidden away deep in the mountains, my worst fears were confirmed. We had been walking for hours, taking turns breaking trail through the knee, deep drifts and trying not to think about how far from civilization we truly were. My partner, Alex, and I were both experienced outdoors people. But even we had reached the limits of our endurance by the time we spotted the dim light flickering in the distance. At first we thought it might have been some kind of animal trap, but as we drew closer, we realized it was coming from one of the windows of a large complex nestled among the peaks. We exchanged nervous glances, unsure whether to investigate or turn back towards safety. In the end, the promise of warmth won out over common sense, and we trudged forward towards the building, hoping against hope that someone would be there to offer us refuge from the elements. The door creaked open under my hand, revealing a scene straight out of a nightmare. The lobby was filled with debris and frozen equipment, the walls covered in strange symbols etched into the paint with claw marks. There were no signs of life, save for the distant sound of dripping water echoing off the metal walls. Despite the eerie atmosphere, I felt a glimmer of relief knowing that at least we wouldn't freeze to death out here. I called out for anyone who might be listening, but only silence answered me. With growing trepidation, we ventured further inside, searching for any sign of survivors. That's when we discovered the logbook lying deteriorate over the next few days, until I was nothing more than a shell of myself. I could hear voices whispering in my ears, telling me to run, to hide, to never look back. They spoke of unspeakable terrors lurking in the darkest depths of the station, waiting to consume anyone foolish enough to cross their path. I tried to ignore them, focusing instead on finding food and shelter, but every step I took seemed to bring me closer to the edge of madness. I knew I had to leave to flee back to civilization before it was too late, and yet I hesitated. Every time I considered leaving without looking into those rumors of missing persons, I heard their whispers grow louder, urging me to take action, to protect others from falling prey to whatever evil lay concealed within these forgotten rooms. So I promised myself that once I made it out alive, I would warn the authorities, alert the world to the danger lurking beneath our feet. And with that mission burning brightly in mind, I strapped on my skis and set off into the unknown, determined to make it home safe and sound no matter the cost. The blizzard raged on, the wind biting at my face as I carved my way through the snow-covered landscape. The whispers still haunted my thoughts, but I pushed them aside, focusing on the task at hand. My skis glided over the frozen terrain, each stride bringing me closer to the safety of civilization. As I descended the mountain, the storm gradually subsided, giving way to a calm and eerie silence. The whispers had faded into the background, replaced by an overwhelming sense of unease. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that something sinister lurked in the shadows behind me. With each passing mile, the weight of the ordeal settled upon my shoulders. I wondered about Alex, my partner. Did they make it out too? Or had they succumbed to the darkness that consumed the abandoned station? Guilt gnawed at me, but I knew I couldn't afford to dwell on it. Survival was the only thing that mattered now. Hours turned into days as I trudged through the snow, the landscape transforming from icy peaks to dense forests. The sounds of civilization grew louder, a glimmer of hope on the horizon. But just as I began to believe I was safe, the forest became an inescapable labyrinth, each path leading me deeper into its clutches. Night fell, and with it, the forest came alive. Whispers returned, mingling with the rustle of leaves and the hushed cries of nocturnal creatures. Shadows danced among the trees, their movements elusive and haunting. I quickened my pace, my heart pounding in my chest, desperate to outrun the encroaching darkness. But the forest had other plans. Trees twisted and contorted, blocking my path and guiding me deeper into its heart. The air grew colder and a thick fog rolled in, obscuring my vision. Panic gripped me as I stumbled blindly, disoriented and afraid. Then, out of the darkness, a figure emerged. It stood tall and gaunt, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. A bone-chilling voice echoed through the mist, beckoning me closer. I froze, torn between the compulsion to obey and the instinct to flee. With a surge of determination, I fought against the allure of the figure. I mustered every ounce of strength and turned away, pushing myself to keep moving forward. The whispers grew louder, their words a cacophony of warnings and pleas, but I pressed on, determined to escape the clutches of the forest. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the trees thinned and the fog dissipated. The sound of civilization returned, a symphony of car horns and distant conversations. I stumbled out of the forest, my body weary and my spirit battered but unbroken. I made my way to the nearest town, my appearance drawing concerned glances from passers-by. I found the local authorities and shared my harrowing tale, urging them to investigate the abandoned station and the horrors it contained. They listened, skeptical but willing to take action. Days turned into weeks as the investigation unfolded. Search parties combed through the mountains, and the truth gradually came to light. The abandoned station was once a research facility, conducting experiments on the limits of human endurance and the effects of isolation. It had been shut down years ago due to ethical concerns and the disappearance of several researchers. The horrors I had encountered were not mere whispers of the imagination. They were the tortured souls of those who had perished in that desolate place, their spirits trapped, forever seeking release. The authorities worked tirelessly to bring closure to the families affected, and the station was marked as a site of tragedy and caution. I returned to my normal life, forever changed by the horrors I had witnessed. The whispers had ceased, replaced by a lingering unease. But I refused to let fear dictate my existence. Instead, I became an advocate for those lost in the wilderness, sharing my story and spreading awareness of the dangers that lurk in the most unexpected places. And as I walked, the snowy paths once again, this time with a group of adventurers by my side. I couldn't help but feel a sense of fulfillment. The storm may have brought us to the brink of despair, but it also ignited a fire within me to protect others from the darkness that dwells in the wild. As the snowflakes gently fell around us, I knew that even in the face of the unknown, there was hope. And together, we would brave the wilderness, ensuring that no one would fall victim to the horrors that awaited those who strayed too far from the safety of civilization. For just $3 a month, you can have your name featured in my YouTube videos and descriptions. Not only will you be supporting my channel, but you'll also be immortalized in the credits of my content. If you're looking for something a bit more personalized, consider becoming a $25 a month patron. I'll voice your stories and bring them to life on my channel. Create a special drawing just for you, or even write a unique story tailored to your interests. So don't hesitate. Join my patron community today and help me keep the spooky stories coming. And remember, together we can save each other from the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for your support.